What's happening, all you Dolphins fans out there? Hope you're all having a great day. So, this latest Peter King article is a tremendous piece as it details, the dynamic and the relationship between Coach Flo and Brian Flores as they built this team the last couple of years. And it just gives tremendous insight on the trade with the 49ers, where we traded from pick 3 to pick 12. There's just a number of great nuggets in this article. I'm going to link it in the description because if you guys haven't checked it out by now, you definitely have got to give it a read because there's just a ton of great stuff in there. And I'm just going to give you the best parts of the article and just what I thought the guys said during their interview with Peter King. So with that trade, with the 49ers, the Dolphins actually started negotiating at least 3 weeks before the deal was set in stone and final. But the Dolphins just really held off until they found a path back into the top 10 where they targeted a number of offensive players, including the one we obviously ultimately took, wide receiver Jalen Waddle, and Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase were obviously the other two players that we were targeting there in the top 10. And that's according to NBC Sports' Peter King, who recently spent time with Dolphins general manager Chris Grier and Coach Flo. In King's latest Football Morning in America column, which I'm going to put in the description for you guys, he reveals that San Francisco 49ers GM John Lynch called Grier way back on March 3rd about moving back from the 12th pick to number 3, a selection the Dolphins acquired from our trade with the Texans in 2019 in the Larry Tunsil trade. Chris Grier said to Lynch that we're open and that we'll listen. But according to the article, Coach Flores was determined to land one of the best offensive players and didn't believe that one would be available at 12. And that obviously was going to be the reality. If we stayed there at 12, we definitely were going to miss out on the best offensive playmakers in this previous draft. And luckily, we came away with Jalen Waddle because I think that Waddle's going to be incredible in the NFL. He's going to have a huge impact for this team, and he's going to be great with Tua. So, to facilitate this trade, Grier got in contact with Eagles GM Howie Roseman, which resulted in the final deal. The Dolphins would move from 3rd to 6th and land future draft capital, including the Niners' first-round pick in 2023. The Eagles would slide from 6 to 12, but pick up an additional first-rounder in 2022, and the 49ers will get their quarterback in Trey Lance that they took with the 3rd pick. While the Dolphins knew the move might take them out of contention for Florida tight end Kyle Pitts and LSU wide receiver Jamar Chase, who I just mentioned, owner Stephen Ross not only signed off on the deal, but was very excited about it. Grier told Peter King, Stephen Ross apparently loves trades. And that just speaks to how much they think of Waddle, who was the Dolphins' pick at 6, over teammate Devonta Smith. Could have easily taken Smith there, but they obviously think that Waddle is going to have a much bigger impact in the league, and I've got to agree. Like I just said, Waddle's got a chance to be like a Tyreek Hill. Chris Grier said, Brian right away was like, if we do this, go down to 12, we need to figure out a way to get back to the top 10. Chris Grier went on to say, we knew Devonta Smith, if it was the other guy, who's a very good player, was not going to be there at 12. We knew the players that we wanted would not be there at 12. We had very good intel, we'd done our work. We were 100% sure we were not going to get a targeted player, especially Jalen, staying at 12. We felt we had to get to at least pick 8 was where we said, but we want to get up higher. We weren't real comfortable at pick 8. We felt 6 was a spot for us to get Waddle. The 49ers' original offer was 3 first-rounders for the 3rd pick, but Grier, knowing he had leverage, asked for an additional 3rd rounder late in the process, and Lynch agreed and wasn't even upset about it. Lynch told Peter King that he loves dealing with Chris. He's not emotional about it, and his word is everything. Chris is a rock, and that's just tremendous to hear because John Lynch, in his own right, he's one of the best GMs in the league, I think. I think he really knows how to build a team. And just hearing from guys around the league, Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks, and now John Lynch, saying just how solid Chris is, it's just great to hear because I definitely agree. As soon as we got rid of Mike Tannenbaum and fired Adam Gase, this team has had a clear vision, and you can just tell we're building towards being one of the best teams in the AFC, and I cannot be more pumped about the future, and I'm sure a lot of you guys agree. Chris Grier went on to say, to me, it's never about winning a trade, it's about being open and honest and working toward getting a deal both sides feel pretty comfortable with. Chris Grier always manages a team with one eye on the future, which might rub some win-now coaches the wrong way, but that's really not the case with Coach Flo. Flores said there's a balance there, a place we're trying to get to somewhere in the middle, before adding, the players the team have selected in 2019, 2020, and 2021 will be the core of the team, and will determine whether their collaboration on building a team is a success. He said that the guys we got in 19, the guys we got in 20, and the players we selected in 2021 that we get in this draft, that's the team, Coach Flores told Peter King. You know what I mean? This is the team moving forward. As we move forward, that's going to be the crux or the big chunk of our team. That'll be the reason why we make noise or we don't make noise. And if the Dolphins picked right, Miami could have 6 starters on offense from the last 2 drafts, starting with Jalen Waddle this year, Tua last year, and 4 of the 5 starters up front on the offensive line, Austin Jackson last year, 18th overall, Robert Hunt in the 2nd round last year, Solomon Kinley in the 4th round last year, and highly regarded 2021 second rounder Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame, who's probably going to get a shot at right tackle. On defense, we're going to need more help from free agents we signed the last 2 years. Byron Jones played pretty well, but there's definitely room for improvement. Pass rusher Emmanuel Ogba will have a cornerstone piece. In the 18th overall pick, Jalen Phillips. And we also just signed ex-Patriots cornerback Jason McCourty in 2020. He definitely played well. He's still got a ton of speed, and yeah, I can see why Coach Flores wanted to bring him in. Coach Flores also touched on the decision to bench rookie quarterback Tua Tagovailoa twice last season and his expectations for Tua in year 2. He went on to say, "I never like to put it on one player. I think we've got a lot of young players, and we're looking for all those players as well as everyone else on the team to improve in a variety of ways. If they're putting all the work in, I expect them to improve, get better, and perform better. Tua is obviously at the top of that list. He's been workings, and all signs point to, I would say, based on my experience, he's doing everything necessary to make some improvements. That's really all we can ask for from Tua. My thing is if you put the work in, the results will take care of themselves." He also went on to say, last year's situation is, we've talked about this numerous times, if he had started the season, we wouldn't have pulled him. We put him in while we were in a playoff chase. At that point, in the second half of Game 15 at Las Vegas, when Ryan Fitzpatrick came in for Tua, he'd say, we're going to do whatever we can do to try to win. But no, my confidence wasn't shaken in him. So obviously last year it was all hands on deck to make the playoffs. He didn't care who was in at quarterback. Whoever could get the job done, get the W. That's all Coach Flo was looking for from that position, and hopefully that's going to change this year. Hopefully he's not going to be pulling him and putting in Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. We got to let Tua work through his kinks and just, learn how to win in this league. And speaking of Tua, that really is the biggest challenge for Miami at the moment. The 5th pick in the 2020 draft. He's coming off a so-so rookie year in which he was benched twice in shaky second halves, like I said. Miami picked him 1 slot ahead of Justin Herbert last April, which hurts tremendously, to be honest. Herbert finished his first season as a Charger with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He had an amazing season. It was amazing to watch, and yeah, it's just annoying because during the pre-draft process last year, a lot of guys were low on Herbert, and I've got to say I was one of them. I didn't like his demeanor, I didn't like his personality, but yeah, that's going to help out a lot of people and myself in how we, evaluate quarterbacks in the future. Tagovailoa finished his first season with questions surrounding his ability to be a long-term starter. And that probably really isn't fair because most often quarterbacks don't play great as rookies. But Justin Herbert and the first overall pick, Joe Burrow, they really played like vets from the get-go. I mean, Joe Burrow was 23 years old as a rookie. He spent 5 years in college. And Justin Herbert played for 4 years, so they had a ton more experience, and they weren't coming off a horrific hip injury, so you got to keep that into account when comparing Tua to Burrow and Herbert. But really, there's much riding on Tagovailoa for Chris Grier. Miami built a war chest of picks to be able to draft a quarterback, and if Tua isn't the guy, it's going to set the rebuild back significantly and force Miami to use more draft capital on a quarterback, likely in 2023, but lucky for us, we've got plenty of picks if we need to make a change at quarterback. We're going to have a number of opportunities, to move up in the draft if we want to take another guy in the years to come. But for now, we're running with Tua, and hopefully, Coach Flo is right when he's saying that Tua is doing all the right things to improve. And I'm just really hopeful we're going to see that in 2021, because if he does elevate, this whole team's going to elevate with him. And we're going to win, 12 to 13 games, especially with an extra game. I think it's very likely we're going to win 12 to 13 games this year. if we have great health and, these young guys improve and we really just do what we need to do on both sides of the ball and special teams, and I'm confident we're going to get it done this year. We're going to make the playoffs and we're going to make some noise in the AFC. So that's it for this video, guys. Just going over this Peter King article, which was honestly one of the best reads I've had in a long time. Just going over the trade with San Francisco, Coach Flo and Grier's relationship, what they think of the team in the present, and just how they go about things in building this Miami Dolphins football team. Let me know in the comments section, what you thought of the article and, what you think of this dynamic between Coach Flo and Chris Grier. Always love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, it's fins up, baby. Cheers, guys.